Am I live? I'm live. I'm live. Do you see me live? It says I'm live, 37 seconds. Oops, and I'm live here. Now everybody's going to see my crazy cat lady world. Shoot. All right, I'm going to start over here. Am I live? Do you see me? You do? I can't hear you.
Yes, you live.
Okay, good. What a mess. Hold on. All right. Okay, I think we're going to have to skip Instagram. Unless something really magical happens.
That's okay. We're going to give people time to come on.
Okay. Giving people a moment. Are people coming on? They're seeing my crazy cat lady shirt.
I'll tell you now.
Okay, Instagram is not happening. No, that's all I have to say about that. Okay. Yeah. I'm having some technical difficulties here, but we're doing it. Are people on?
Yes, people are coming on.
Okay, good. All right, so it is a teeny screen that I can't see. We're trying a new app today. Is anyone?
So we've got people on the Facebook group.
Okay, you have really bad feedback. It's really bad. Cheers. Now I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Yasmin. In order for you to talk to me, I think you have to mute everything quickly and talk to me. And then otherwise. There we go. Okay. All right. Skipping Instagram altogether. All right. Anyway, I want to, can you mute yourself, mute all the activity and tell me that people are here?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're on. Sorry, we were having a little bit of technical difficulties because, as John said, we're trying a new app because the video wasn't clear. We got a lot of feedback from yesterday's masterclass that the video was choppy and pixelated and stopping and starting. So we really hope that today's going to be clearer for everyone.
And so, is it better? Can you see me?
So, John, I can see you perfectly, and let's get people to comment in the comments. If they could just give us a thumbs up if you can hear and see John.
Yeah, it's hard because it's a camera.
Yeah, Mark Thomas is saying the video is better today.
Okay, good.
Shirley Messi is saying yes. Yes, Chris says it's better.
Okay, good.
Fantastic. Shannon, yay. We are ready to rock and roll.
All right.
So cool.
Okay, I'm going to get started. We have a lot of material to cover today, and I'm going to save questions until the end. And some people will ask questions, and some people won't. And for those that can't, we're going to go ahead and have a special Q&A day on Saturday. So welcome to the Basic Energy Healing for Animals Masterclass Day 2. And today's a very important day. We are going to talk about energy in our home. We've got a little meditation we're going to do. We've got some stuff. And for those that have gotten the, let's see, oh shoot. You know what, you sent me the, you didn't send me the pictures. So we've got some really beautiful, I needed the pictures for the, if you could text me the pictures, Yasmin, that would be fantastic. Anyway, my printer didn't work this morning. I've had all kinds of, it's just been that kind of day. But this might be the best cup of coffee I've ever made in my life. So I'm really happy about that. So for those that are new to me, you know that I run on horses, caffeine, and cuss words. I'm just kidding. Actually, my name is Joan, and I'm an animal communicator, author, energy healer, and founder of Communication with All Life University. I forgot TEDx speaker. But anyway, founder of Communication with All Life University. And what the school is a place for people to come learn animal communication in its most basic form for your household, for you, for maybe you and your friends, for you and your animals. And then there's a whole program for people to become animal communicators. And then we also have energy healing for animals, huge program for that. Again, you can learn it maybe because you have a health challenge or a behavioral challenge in your own home, or maybe because you want to become an energy healer for animals. And so we've got a nature and wildlife piece being built out. We've got acupressure. We will have body work, as you saw yesterday. Rhonda's got some classes that she'll be teaching with the school. So we have all kinds of things coming up, but we have so many things now. And it's like a full-on school. It is a full-on school. And what I'm hoping is that you get something out of this for today, for yourself, for your animals, and that if you are up for learning with us, we have so many things coming up. We always have the intensives. We always have animal communication level 1. We always have energy healing for animals level 1. But in this, whenever somebody gives a master class, they always have a special offer. The special offer here is that we have the energy healing for animals fundamentals on sale, and it includes the chakra, and it includes some chakra stuff, but it also includes the EFT and the scalar classes, 2 special bonuses, and I'll talk more about that at the end. So I would like to set an intention for this morning. I would like to start with really setting the intention that we take this time together to really bring our energy in. We're going to do a little exercise around that, bringing our energy in, and then, okay, Yasmin, it's like Zoom. I'm trying to mute her because I can hear the typing. But yell to me if you need me, but if you don't mind muting so that I don't hear your typing. Okay. So I want to set the intention that today we gather our own energy and understand what it is to be an emotional leader. And that as we are an emotional leader, we learn how to bring our household, our feelings, anything in our world back into coherence, and that we're moving the chaos out. And that by being this in the world, our beingness ripples out into the universe and helps others. But we start by putting the oxygen mask on ourselves and being this very calm and wondrous state of being, just being, and are able to be that for our animals. And so it is. All right. So I want to start with saying we have lots of things to go over. We're going to go over morphic resonance, or ecosystems, if you will. We're going to go over morphic resonance. We're going to go over emotional leadership. We're going to talk about our field of energy and being able to be connected, and yet little techniques we can do when we're overly connected or we need to provide safety. And then we're going to talk about polarity. I'll do a demonstration for you and a demonstration for the animals. Then we're going to have a little meditation, and then we're going to really work on sending and receiving energy. And then we're going to close. So let's start with talking about yesterday. In yesterday's session, we talked about the body. We talked about all the invisible parts of the body, the chakras, the meridians, the nerves, the neural pathways, there are a few more. Anyway, we talked about all of that. And while we're talking about all of that, and understanding that the body holds, muscle memory and cellular memory. Hello. The body holds all of the energy it can hold if it doesn't have certain releases, like exercise, or just even joy. Like a lot of animals can just kind of express themselves in the moment. Something exciting happens, and that animal is able to, smile. There's all kinds of ways, little releases. But as an animal communicator and energy healer, often what I see are the animals that haven't had that opportunity to release, and therefore it's still living in their body. So we really covered the body, and then we had the wonderful demonstration with Rhonda on physical body work. And thankfully, I took enough videos that for those that are signed up for this and are getting the handouts and are getting things, I'll make sure that there's some videos in the reminder emails or in the summary emails in the coming days. But anyway, the reason that I like to start with the body is because people forget how energetic and important it is. And if you know me, I joke that I'm the cussing animal communicator, but I'm also the practical energy healer. Like, I believe in coming from a very grounded space. And when we come from a grounded space, like I said, when we set our intention, when we're grounded, animals are grounded. When animals are grounded, they can make better choices. And when we are living in harmony, then we are being that, we're embodying that. And as we embody that, it has a ripple effect out into the world. And so our being this is the most important thing we can do. So when we're being this, we're also being we're stepping into what I call emotional leadership, and we'll go into that. But let's talk about our household for a moment and the energy field within the household. You're going to see, this will link up a little more with tomorrow when we talk about chakras. But what happens, so in the next lesson tomorrow, we'll talk about chakras, and we will talk about the 8th chakra, which I call the energy field for animals. And we are all linked up in that energy field. And I want to tell a little story. Years ago, there was a gal that kept her horse with me, and she lived on the property. And she lived on the property so that I could travel. Her horse was part of the herd, and our horses had a lot of fun. She I rode dressage, she trail rode. So one morning I was down in the barn and she was getting ready to go on a big trail ride, and I was waiting for my trainer. And we had turned the horses out in the field, had 8 acres of pasture. And so the horses were out. She went and got her horse. And while I was getting all my stuff ready and my trainer was late, she left. And by the time I stepped out to go catch my horses, they were so freaked out about something that they were running like crazy. Then the trainer drove up, and I looked at the time because she was a few minutes late. Let's say it was 10 after 10. So at 10 after 10, my horses are insane. And what um, ended up happening was I came into the house with the trainer. We ended up having coffee for an hour, and she left. And about noon, Kelly came back with her horse, but she was walking next to her horse. And I thought, oh God, I hope there wasn't an accident. And I said, is everything okay? And she said, yeah, he lost it on the trail. Now you have to understand it. I didn't live here then. I lived in outside of Seattle, where the woods are so thick. I mean, it really was an old growth forest that had been cut down for warehouse a couple times. So even in its regrowth, it was thick. If she was a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles away, there's no way she could have even heard what was going on at our place. And she'd been gone for about a half hour by the time her horse had lost it. And I said, what time was it? She goes, it's so funny. I looked at the time. It was 10 after 10. So what I realized was that Doc, her horse, sensed it miles away. I mean, they were a couple miles away. He got all wound up because he felt the energy of my horses. And in the end, I think it was just a bear. It may have been a cougar that had gone through, because a bear wouldn't have wound them up that much. And anyway, so there was this, you know, field of energy that communicated that there was, danger, danger, danger. And he picked up on it miles away. And so I want to tell you about, I know that if you studied with me, you know that I love to quote a lot from Dr. Rupert Sheldrake's book, Animals Know When Their Owners Are Coming Home. And he's a biologist in England that did some experiments and then wrote the book. And the experiments consisted of the he had time-stamped cameras all throughout people's homes and in the office. And you know how most people might leave every day at 5 o'clock and catch the train and get home at 5:20 or whatever it is. What he did was he had people leave at random times, and what the time-stamped camera showed in the house was that even if the person got up from the desk with the intention to leave at 3:17 instead of 5 p.m., that dog got up from the couch and sat by the door and waited for his owner to come home. And he did test after test after test after test. You know what's hard about not allowing questions, Yasmin, is I'll never get a sip of my coffee. So hold on. So these tests showed him that there was a field of energy that existed in more than the household, that it extended out to wherever it was. And we know this. I actually had a small plane. I wouldn't call it a plane crash. It was a plane incident that could have been a crash. We had a crash landing. How about that? Ran out of gas at really high. And we were coming in the mountains from Sun Valley to Seattle. And I was 19, ran out of gas in the air, and we were dropping. And all I could think about was, oh my God, if I die, my parents. And again, it's some weird time, like 10:17 at night, that we were dropping. And fortunately, the guy was a great pilot and managed to, yeah, it's a long, involved story. But bottom line is, my mom knew it's 10:17. She happened to look at the clock when she started to panic, thinking I should be hearing from Joan pretty soon. She thought she should hear from me in about an hour, but literally she felt it. She felt me going down. So, you know, our parents have always had that connection. And it's beyond and involves telepathy. And it's a field of energy. It's a field of energy. And what I want to do is show you, like, um, for those that, you're going to see Yasmin too. For those that didn't get the handout, there's Yasmin. Oops, I'm going around.
Hello.
Yeah. So you can see the murmuration there, the birds that are in that flock, and you can see the fish have really, yeah. So when you think about the morphic resonance, it's very similar to what people would call an ecosystem, right? In an ecosystem, there's always going to be. I was just out with these wild horses the other day, and one, in a herd of horses, there were 6 bands, and each of those are families. So it could be mother and daughter and daughter and daughter and daughter and daughter, and a couple and their daughters and sons, and a couple of these they've been caught and gelded, but they each have their own little stallion hanging around, and so when you think out in the wild, if we were in the Serengeti or we were out in the Timbavati of South Africa, you're going to see animals. Like, you could actually see lions over here sleeping, and herds of elk, antelope, and zebra, and but Yasmin would say it's zebra. Um, and so you'd see all these things out there, all these wonderful, beautiful creatures um, eating, grazing, and they might be aware of the lions, or the lions might almost have their cloak of invisibility on, and something can erupt, and one of the antelope might sense that something is going. The little springbok can say, "I'm feeling something." Alerts that fear, that fight or flight kicks in to the energy field, to the herd, to the morphic resonance, to the ecosystem of that group of animals, and it signals the leader to say, let's go this way. So they are in constant relationship and engagement and frequency. They are always connected to each other to be able to survive. They had that, again, I talked about it yesterday, that animals feeling into their atmosphere, their ecosystem, their home, feeling into it is their survival. And they're always tracking us. We can talk about it telepathically, like they're picking up on our pictures, words, and feelings. So if we are the ones that are running the show and it's not going well for us, then they've got to take over. And we'll talk a little more about that in a moment. But going back to this fight or flight, they feel into it, they get themselves to safety. And then there's other times that they become invisible. And that's basically an ecosystem. And for anybody with cats, I love my cat shirt, you know that our cats in our home can have a cloak. You can be like calling and calling and calling and calling, and you walk by the chair, and you walk by the chair, and you walk by the chair. And the 15th time, the cat's under the chair. Was there all along. So we have the cloak of invisibility often in our own home. And it's really important to see what is the atmosphere, what does it feel like in your house. And so for a moment, I would love for you to just take a moment and write down some of the things that you feel goes on in your house. Is your household really calm, or is it really chaotic? And if it's chaotic, what are some of the things that you notice are causing that energy? So type it in, because Yasmin, I would love for you to share with me. I'm gonna sip some coffee.
I'm waiting for comments to come in.
Are there any comments so far?
There's so many comments. We don't have time.
Okay.
To go through them. Tons.
Are people relating to this?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So it's important to understand what it is that drives your household, if you will. And again, we're going to do a little exercise here in a moment with our own field of energy. But I want you to think about what drives your household. Are you the chaos, which is fine, we can work on that. Is someone else, do you have a disruptor in your household? Do you have an animal that's a disruptor? I mean, some people have disruptive animals. I mean, I'll tell you, we all love Penelope. How cute is Penelope, right? But with the cats, I don't usually have cats all around. The Penelope was definitely a disruptor, and we've never had one before, so it was interesting. What are people saying?
Unmuted myself. Yeah, there are a few comments. People are definitely resonating. Janelle Hughes says, yes, my husband sees that with deer all the time. It seems there are hunters with guns versus hikers with cameras. The deer know and react accordingly.
Oh my God, that's so great, Janelle.
Yeah.
That is so true. It's so true. And it's like they feel that intention coming into their field. I actually have a funny story that I tell in my Energy Healing for Animals book. I used to practice this little meditation that we're going to do in a minute, and because I swam with dolphins forever. And what we would, so I went out one day to this part of at my old farm, what I called the fairy garden. So it was way across the pasture out to the fairy garden. And all of a sudden, I walked into, I felt fear. I felt fear. And I thought, oh my God, I feel fear. And, we've all done this. We've probably walked into somebody else's fear, but we don't know it. And so it stopped me in my tracks. And I got very small and very what is it? And all of a sudden I could see two little eyes looking over at me. And it was the teeniest little fawn you've ever seen. Couldn't be more than a couple days old. And then I just got smaller and smaller and smaller. And the next thing you know, a couple of other eyes over here became aware. So there was another, it wasn't the mom, but it was another little doe. And maybe a year old, not quite even a year old. So there were two baby-ish and juvenile, one baby, one juvenile deer. And they treated me like a maypole. They danced around me because I got so quiet and they knew my intention was pure and that I totally appreciated them. They got in closer and closer and closer, and it was so magical. And yeah, so my intention was very dear to the deer. Did you like that? Anyway, it was dear to the deer. Okay, that was dumb. I just channeled my dad. Anyway, any other comments?
Yes, they're popping up all the time. Linda Gage says, totally agree, Joan. My emotions affect the household, and one of our kitties, Bordeaux, can disrupt the calm by suddenly tackling one of the older infirm kitties.
Yeah.
Shelley says, everything can be really peaceful and quiet. Then my husband comes into the room and wow, everything changes.
Yeah, some of us live with disruptors. It's probably why I haven't gotten married again, because God knows I've attracted disruptors. But anyway, it is really important for us to see where the disruption is, and then for us to see how can we make it calm. And one of the biggest ways that we can make it calm is to accept the role of emotional leader. And I use that role because if you look at if you look at a herd of horses or even a dog, like I think a lot of women struggle with the term alpha bitch. I mean, not that I haven't been, but I think that the word alpha has a stronger, not always the kind of, for me, emotional leader is calm, it's quiet, it's assertive, it's clear, it's not coming in with aggressive, if you will, energy. And so when we look at being the emotional leader, then we can still have our ups and downs, we can still have a big cry, we can still have all of these feelings, but we are aware of it enough that we continue to lead, if you will, for the better of everyone in the household. Now, I love to say that we are setting the pH, the potential for harmony of the household at harmony. And when you think about harmony, it means, there are different things harmonizing, right? There's different frequencies that make it harmony. It doesn't mean that we're all grooving on the same beautiful plane. We are absolutely in our individual autonomous beingness, and we're in this ecosystem, morphic resonance, if you will, called our household. So if we set the tone, if we set ourselves up to be the emotional leader, then we get to help the others be their amazing self, that they get to be um, the lounge cat, the alert dog, the muse, the protector, the friend, the companion, the bossy older sister as Delilah can be. They get to be fully in their world and not have a care in the world. And for me, I want my animals, while my animals are really great at comforting me, their job is to be them. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Any other comments? I'm going to do a little meditation.
That's so interesting what you just said, Joan, because Elizabeth said, are disruptors purposely causing disruption, or are they just not calm? So it disrupts a calm environment. And I think you just addressed that. I mean, they're just being them, really.
They're being them. And if they are disruptive, like for me, I can divert the attention of the cats from Penelope. I can make 5,000 choices for Penelope on behalf of Penelope to avoid that behavior, right? Like right now, they all know I'm working, and then I've got a long Q&A with my advanced animal communication, because today's the last day of advanced animal communication. Thursday's the last day of energy healing for animals. So the school is about to go on summer break, and right now my animals are very calm. But at the end of each class, they get a little wound up, and the cats run through, so I've got some disruptive cats. They bait the dog. So when you get to the bottom of who's doing what, and they need a certain thing, like maybe they need attention. With Penelope, she just needs a dang job. You know what I mean? So then I can start creating jobs. I can create other things. That's her personality. She's being a disruptor because she's bored, and they've got, going back to yesterday, the neural pathway. They've got an entrenched behavior dynamic of, I run through the house, Penelope will chase me. I being a cat. So, you know, I can come in and disrupt that neural pathway. So that's, again, you'd have to really look at your household, and it's very, I hope that you take the time after this class to really look at what your household is being, and how you can balance that out. Does that make sense? All right.
Yes.
So what I want to do is, the first thing that I think we should do is we're just going to take a moment. Some of you have done this with me before, But this is really one of my favorite things to do. You can use it as like an aura cleanse or a moment to um, make yourself small, like in the case of wildlife. And there's other times, like if there was something coming at you, like um, a mountain lion, a herd of horses running straight to you, then you want to make this energy field big. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. So let's just go ahead and do this, what I call collapsing the field, because when we're in this field of energy, if we're not aware that we're in a field of energy, then we're kind of out of control and we're the disruptor. But I want us to take this first step of becoming aware of what we are in this field of energy. So I want you to just breathe, and I want you to just plant your feet on the ground. Breathe into the bottom of your feet for a moment. Just feel your feet really just dripping into the earth and all the energy of the day, whether you're starting tomorrow on the other side of the planet or we're over on this side of the planet. It might be lunchtime, it might be morning. Let's just let the day go. Really sinking everything that we don't need for right now into the earth. And now I want you to feel that little light that goes from the top of your head to the heavens, or from the heavens to the top of your head. Who knows what came first, the chicken or the egg? Either way, there's a little divine connection, or a big divine connection. So I want you to feel that for a moment. So we're connected to the earth, and we're connected to the heavens. And now I want you to go to your center, to the center of your center, and feel into that for a moment. And now I want you to feel out to your energy field as if it's gossamer wings. Feel into your energy field. And now I want, on this next inhale, I want you to imagine you're bringing your field of energy into that center, 0 point energy center. And on the exhale, I want you to let it out. And on the inhale, bring your energy field in. And on the exhale, I want you to let it out. On the inhale, bring your energy field in. On the exhale, let your energy field out. On the inhale, bring your energy field in. And on this next exhale, I want you to leave your energy field inside. You've just collapsed your own energy field. I want you to just breathe like this for a moment, as if all of your energy is just tightly wound into your 0 point energy center spot. And now on this next exhale, go ahead and let that energy field back out. feel like it's been cleaned and cleansed, and it's connecting back up with everything. Now I want you to take a moment where you're in your heart. Really appreciating. So I want you to take a couple of breaths and imagine that you're breathing from the bottom of your feet, that you're bringing that energy in to your beingness. You're bringing that groundedness in. And now I want you to bring the divine in for the next couple of breaths. So if you're bringing the energy in from the heavens into the top of your head and down through your body. And now I want you to go ahead and inhale your energy field back in, connecting with that grounded divine. And now let it out one last time with your grounded energy and your divine energy. And imagine that even though your energy field is contained, that goodness is seeping into your household. And when you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. That was pretty yummy. So I have one more little demonstration that I want to do, but I'd love to hear if people. Oh, actually, so what I want to talk about for a couple more minutes is so that's our energy field, right? And we have the ability to inform it, if you will. If we think about, we're going to talk about this much more tomorrow. If you think about any disease, I would say anything that happens to us comes into our field. And the other day I said, except for being hit by a car, except the car would come into our field before it would impact the body. So anything that comes into our body has come through the field, moved through the chakras and into the organs. So anything that we I watched my mother as she got diabetes. She was on really toxic medication. Like you could just see it in her field before it turned into cancer of the bile duct. I can't explain it except that I just kept trying to get her on a different path and it wasn't going to be, right? And I could just see where that was going down to that little bile duct. So energy, we have the ability to inform our energy field, to protect our energy field, and we also have the ability to help our animals. And so I want to just talk about, from a behavioral standpoint, I had in the handouts, you'll see one of these. Which one can you see better? That one? Okay, so I'm walking my dogs there. I had a reactive dog, and it's not that Delilah's perfect now, but I have moments. And one of the things I learned to do was to make a giant bubble with her. And there I am walking her with other dogs that my trainer had really saw these dogs had been reactive at one point. He had shifted their behavior, and then he used them with reactive dogs to help create the calm. The calm. So what I did was just put a bubble over us, and that's what I do when I feel. And it's hard to do quickly when like, uh-oh, here comes another dog. But it's something you can do along with bladder sweeps and tapping. It's something you can do before you walk out the door, is create that bubble of safety. My little horse Anya, she's 16 hands. She's not so little. Nope. There we go. She used to spook a lot, and I'm going to show the polarity exercise in a moment. And what I would do is um, shift her polarity, and then the minute I got in the saddle, instead of petting her up front like we normally do, I would touch her hind end, her first chakra, and I would say, I've got this. And then I inflated my bubble. And so we were always safe. And she never spooks anymore. But that's how we worked through that. Like this is how big the safety is, the emotional leader. This is how big it is. It's in front of you, it's behind you. I've got this. And when I started doing that, it shifted everything. The other thing, I tell the story a lot. I think I started to tell it yesterday, where Olivia, my dog, had grieved with me when the first time I got separated from my ex-husband, and then when I got separated again, it resulted in divorce, lost the stepkids, moved from our beautiful home. I noticed then we lost the cat and we grieved. Like we had several losses that we grieved together in. And then I noticed that when my dad died, and when he got sicker and sicker, he was more fragile. I couldn't bring big dogs around him. So she didn't have as much of a relationship with him as she did with other people. So when he died and I was grieving, she started really grieving also. And it wasn't hers to grieve, I always say. So what I did was I put her in a bubble, separate. This is what, yeah. So again, these are in the handouts. But I would put her in a bubble and I said, look, you don't get to grieve with me. You're the dog. I need you to be the dog. I can't have you grieving with me because you have to help me get out of the house and have joy. And so she really got it. When I'd see her kind of going down, just put a little bubble around her. And so these are really important things that can help you and your household, like that disruptor. Whoever said they had a disruptor, you might bubble the disruptor for a little bit and let that disruptor may need calm more than anyone else in the house, but they don't maybe have the self-soothing. They don't have ways to do that. So giving them almost like a bubble, a little time out, an opportunity to relax can be the most healing thing on the planet for them. So I love to look at, we're going to get more into energy, but I love to look at the more grounded, practical things. And the last thing I want to show you is a lot of times when we're off, or we've just flown, or we've driven long distances, or all of our technology has gone wonky, our polarity is off. And so the easiest thing you can do to bring it back is you take your north and south fingers, you go above your right eye, and you swipe left for 6 to 8 times. And then I always throw some bonus swipes in, but that's one thing that can help. And then when you notice like horses that are in barn aisles with fluorescent lights, horses that spook, doing that, it links up the left and right hemisphere of the brain. And so I felt myself just calm down right now. I hope you did too. And then Delilah, 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 come here. Come here. Hop up. Hop up. Come on. All the way. So we'll just do a quick Delilah. So again, hi. Oh, I love this dog. For her, that's her right eye. So looking at our animal, it's going from left to the right, their right eye, across the forehead there. And see she's releasing as I do that. So, I have a dog in my chair and my cat shirt on and a cup of coffee. Life is good. So, I, of course, almost ran over. So, I can do about 2 seconds of questions and comments because I have to teach today. It's the last day of school. And one thing I wanted to say again, we have this special, we have the Energy Healing for Animals Fundamentals, which is a 12-week digital course. There's a ton of material in there about, healer, heal thyself, and then the techniques, bonused with the EFT class and the scalar class. And so it's, the special right now is $397, and it's a, through this Masterclass, so through Saturday, $397, and it's basically an $800 value if it's $497 for this class, the fundamentals, and then $197 for the EFT and $197 for the energy healing with scalar. So it's really quite a deal. And of course, we always have the intensive coming up, the AC level 1, and the energy healing for animals. The intensive is October 1st through the 9th. It's animal communication, animals in transition, death, dying, and beyond, and energy healing for animals. So a whole lot more of this, and energy field stuff. And then the AC level 1 is, I think, October 20th or 21st. I think the 20th. And then energy healing for animals. The live calls class, level 1 starts November 4th. So I can do 1 minute of questions, comments, observations.
There are so many comments. So one question and a few questions, I don't think we're going to get to all of them, but we will try. So somebody asked, what can I do to feel animals' essence better? Kim, any tips to feel the animal's essence better?
I mean, the best way to feel an animal's essence, well, the best 2 ways is to deepen your meditation. If you don't have a meditation practice, it would be a good idea to start one. And then to be in a class where you just get to practice repeatedly and have the information verified. Our classes for the school, for Communication with All Life University, it is just built in that things are verified. And the more you have it verified, the more you can have that muscle built. So that's it. We have some little intro animal communication classes coming up. Once a month we have that.
Somebody, Jane Wu, said, can you, what's the name of the book from the doctor that you just talked about?
It's